guys and girls, I'm Reef Man, and today I wanted to talk about the one kind of fish that I've always thought that I'm going to set up a tank for, but I've never actually done it. The seahorses. Seahorses are all members of the genus Hippocampus. There are 45 different species, but only a handful are kept in our aquariums. One really nice thing about seahorses is that they're available as captive bred specimens. There's no need to catch them from the wild for our aquariums. Seahorses can make a great animal to keep in a species-specific tank. They do well in groups, they have interesting social interactions, and many species are widely available as captive bred specimens, as I mentioned. They're also really easy to breed, unlike most aquarium fish. And as I mentioned, there are several species of seahorse that are available from captive breeders. For example, Seahorse source in Florida is a great source. But beginners will have most luck with Hippocampus erectus, as it's a large, hardy species that's also easy to breed if you would choose to do so. Other good species to start with are things like Hippocampus radii or Hippocampus combs. They also make good seahorses to start with, but you should remember to do research on what you're actually buying before you buy it, just like any fish that you would want. Seahorses don't have scales. Because of this, they're particularly susceptible to damage from crabs, other sharp or pointed objects in their tank. Cuts and abrasions lead to infections, which is never easy to treat in a reef tank. Seahorses don't have stomachs like you or I do, and so they need to be fed more than just once a day. Like anthias, they will appreciate several small feedings throughout the day. Thawed frozen mysis shrimp is a great food source for seahorses. They are also messy, picky eaters, and this combined with the multiple feedings that you'll have to do every day is a recipe for poor water quality. You'll need to target feed your seahorses, so make sure you have a turkey baster or rigid airline tubing or something like that that you can use to do so. Seahorses will do best away from busy, high-traffic areas in your home. They appreciate calm tanks with turbulent but not overly strong flow because they're not super good swimmers. Be absolutely certain, though, that you protect any pumps that you use in your seahorse tank, as they can easily get stuck to the pump input, or even worse, they can get their tail cut off when trying to hitch onto the grate around a pump. You do need to have enough flow for other plants or animals that you want to keep in the tank. And you should also have enough flow to keep food suspended in the water when you feed your seahorses. At the very least, you need to set up the pumps around the tank to prevent dead spots in the water where food is going to gather and decompose. The rule of thumb for tank size for seahorses is about 30 gallons of water per pair of seahorses. A 60-gallon cube would be perfect for a small group of seahorses. It meets the minimum size requirement, and it also has a large surface area, and that allows for lots of oxygen exchange into the water. Seahorses don't have traditional gills like a tang or clownfish does. Instead of being arranged in layers, like in other fish, their gills grow more like just a tuft. And because of this, their gills are less efficient at oxygen uptake, and therefore a small vertical tank is not going to be well suited for them because of the lack of the surface area, unless you take extra precautions to ensure the high level of dissolved oxygen that they require. Common seahorses like Hippocampus erectus will do best with water temperatures in the low 70s, lower than most of our reef tanks will be. This requirement is made easier if you consider that seahorse tanks often don't need a strong light source. You only need a light sufficient for the other things that you put into the tank. Remember, fish don't care about the light. The lower temperatures provide two advantages. One, it matches the wild environment of the animal, which is super important. And two, it discourages bacteria from growing and slows the decomposition of uneaten food. Remember, you're feeding a lot and you're messy eaters. Tanks can be aquascaped with live rock, gorgonians, macroalgae, and other soft corals. Seahorses will particularly appreciate algae and soft corals that are branching so that they can hitch amongst the branches. If you've ever wanted to try a bare-bottom tank with seahorses would be a great place to try it out. Macroalgae in the display is particularly helpful for seahorse tanks because it both provides a hitching location and also absorbs nutrients from leftover food as it grows. You can also make use of artificial decorations in your tank. Things like plastic chains, artificial coral, or plants are much easier to take care of, and some seahorses can actually change color to match the thing that they're hitching on, so they blend in, which allows you to perhaps coax your seahorses into being more colorful. Some of the video that I've been showing, which was all recorded at the Aquarium of the Pacific in Long Beach, California, it shows a closely related animal, the sea dragon. Sea dragons do not make good aquarium animals, for people like you and I at least. They are not available as captive bred animals, and it is illegal to own or transport them in some cases, unless you're a zoo or aquarium, because the wild population is endangered for some species. They are also much harder to maintain because they require a much lower water temperature, and for that reason you should really enjoy them in a public aquarium like the Aquarium of the Pacific, rather than attempting them yourself at home. That's it this week, folks. I hope you enjoyed learning about seahorses. I found it really interesting to research this video, and of course it's always fun to visit a public aquarium. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to give me a like if you enjoyed this. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't. Let me know what to improve. And please subscribe for more videos like this most weeks. Bye.